Steam application on PC is a game library, a media library, a game store, allows for social communication and easy organization of all of the above. Originally created by the Valve Corporation in 2002, Steam was primarily meant to update their games such as Counter-Strike and Left 4 Dead, but quickly turned into a community-driven application that allowed for discussion boards and easy communication between friends. Steam released for Mac and Linux in 2010 and increased their user base. For a brief time, Steam for Schools was an educational version of Steam meant for developers and people getting into game design. Also in 2012, Steam Workshop was announced, which allowed users to modify their games and upload it to Steam Workshop for other users to download these modifications. In 2015, their streaming services was started, which is similar to Twitch, but you stream directly from the Steam application. Steam Controller was also announced in 2015, which let you use a controller even on games that did not have controller support. 2016, Steam VR was launched. Steam Direct was announced this year, which is a replacement for Greenlight. The Greenlight program is a program on Steam which allows users to vote for a game that gets uploaded to the game store. Steam sales, an infamous part of Steam that happen 3 times a year, are big sale events that have most of the Steam library 90% off at the highest, and allows for people who can't afford expensive games to finally get that game they want. Steam receives user input mainly with these 2 methods: ratings, reviews, and your playtime. Steam, like any company, wants to enhance your user experience. In order to do this, however, they require some information from them. One piece of information they greatly appreciate is ratings and reviews that users can provide of any game in a Steam store. They then store this information and display it on the Steam store page for that given game. By doing this, it provides multiple users a general idea of what to expect from a game without having to buy it, since someone else bought it, played it, and reviewed it. The "you've played so many hours" is data about how much time you spent in a game. They use this information to help get a sense of what games you prefer to play. A couple examples of data transmission with the Steam app include the Steam's Friends list, which allows you to see the online status of friends also using the Steam app. Allows you to chat, video chat, and voice chat. You can see what game they're playing, if any, and you have the option of joining that game if you also own it and that game has multiplayer support. The news section for Steam gives you the latest news for the current game you're looking at, whether it's sales, an update to the game, or a popular community post on the community section of the game. It also has news about the latest mods from the Steam Workshop if that game supports modifications. Steam has an interesting section called Discovery Queues. They take popular and top-selling games, along with data based on the games you enjoy, by checking your playtime and the amount of games that share the same genre in your Steam library. Using an algorithm, they present you with games that has a high rating and products that you would enjoy. The best thing about Discovery Queues is that it adapts with every game it presents to you. When it presents a game, you get the option to follow it, which means you like it. Next item means neutral, and lastly not interested, which means you don't like it. With every response you give, your Discovery Queue will learn what you like and what you don't like. The first display the user can expect to see after downloading the Steam application is one of 4 application icons. The user can pick and choose where they like to be able to view and utilize the application icon. The areas indicated on the slide are on the desktop, in the taskbar at the bottom, clicking the small arrow from the taskbar and opening the tray, and within the Start menu, Steam can be accessed utilizing any of these icons. Upon clicking any of these icons, if you haven't asked your computer to automatically log you in upon Steam startup, or this is the first time you logged in on your machine, you'll be met with Steam login prompt. At this point, the user inputs the information relative to themselves and their accounts, such as their account name and password for access. If for whatever reason you don't have access to your account, such as forgetting your password, you can also use this display prompt to attempt to retrieve the account in question. The display also allows the user to create an account should they not already have one. Moving past this login screen, should your login be successful, you'll be met with a default page of your choosing along with a news page displaying information relative to the user regarding Steam and several other options located around the window. The user can set his default page to one of 4 options at the top: Store, Library, Community, and Account. In this case, Synchmatic, the default page, is normally selected in reference to what the user likes to see upon first logging in. The default page in this particular screenshot is Steam Store. The Steam Store is a page in which the user can purchase new material, items, software, and games for themselves and their Steam account. These different categories are separated out to better differentiate and organize the store for the user. As you can see by the first screenshot on the left-hand side, there are several options that the user has access to that allows him or her to narrow down their search. Tags like recommended are even tailored specifically to the user's interests based on what they've looked at, liked, or purchased in the past. The second screen displays an additional view of how information is presented once one of the left-hand tags is selected. In this case, we're looking at top sellers. More information is then provided to the user as well as additional options to narrow the search even further. Here we can see that Outlast 2 is a top seller for Windows at the time of loading the screen, that it was released on April 24th and has positive ratings and costs $29.99. The next tab over is the Library tab. The Library tab serves as the user's own personal library for what they've purchased. In most cases, it loads with games that the user has purchased, but other bits of software can be stored there as well, such as game development software or graphics processor overclocking software. All items in this tab are either purchased or gifted to the user, but the user has ownership over all the items in their library. You can create tags to organize your game library, and it's easy to tell which games are installed and which ones aren't. The white names being those installed and the gray names being those that are not. Last but not least, Big Picture Mode is a display used by Steam to accommodate those who like to use their PCs as home theaters, like to play with a controller, or who own a Steam machine. The interface acts like a console operating system and is optimized for controller control as opposed to mouse and keyboard. Although mouse and keyboard can still be used, Big Picture Mode provides users a way to navigate to their games and open them using a directional pad on a controller, instead of having to switch to one after the game has been clicked on by a mouse. All the information and access the user has in Steam's standard display is also available to the user in Big Picture Mode, such as access to the store and library. Human impact with the Steam application. User reviews and ratings, user discussion boards and guides, user-made modifications or mods, green light feature. The ratings and reviews can influence a person to buy a game or not buy a game. There's also unhelpful comments and people just trolling, and the most helpful comments get pushed to the top. Here's an example of the recommendation page, and you can sort it by how helpful it was and a time frame and also a language it is in. This is an example of a not so helpful review, and it's just a side effect of user input. And this is an example of a most helpful review, which was pushed to the top. And you can see the amount of hours played by that person to give more credibility to the review. User discussion boards and guides. Communities that like games can talk about it. You can ask for help or just socialize. Pre-made user guides can help you with information about the game, find exploits if that's what you like to do, or if you're having technical difficulties with the game. This is an example of a message board or like a forum. And this is an example of some pre-made guides. User modifications or mods are user-submitted modifications to a game that change the aspect of the game from its original release. You can download them from other users, and there's also a rating system with these. This is the workshop homepage where you can find the modifications for a certain game. And this is an example of what a mod might do. Most just improve the game or change textures. The greenlight feature is a user-submitted games that the community votes on that make it into the game store. It's a flat fee to upload your own game, and most of these games are independently made games and aren't made by popular studios. Here's what you might see if you're voting for a greenlight game. These are games currently being voted on. User-friendly features. The game library is organized well. You can search for a game by cover or title. Has all the links you need in one place, and it's easy to navigate the homepage. This is the page you might see when you first log in, depending on how you have your settings set up. As you can see on the left hand side, it has links to stores and to your friends. Also game recommendations. It also has sales in the middle of the screen. Once you click on a game in your library, this is the information that will be displayed. As you can see, it has recent news, which includes updates and user-made modifications. On the right-hand side, you can see links to a community page, a discussion board, any relative DLC or support, and you can write a review straight from here. This is an example of switching the library instead of a list to search by cover, which helps organize and search your library better. This is the default game library, which is just alphabetical, and it has white text if it's installed and gray text if it's not installed. Universal usability and challenges. The Steam application is only for the gamer audience, so universal use is not really a problem, since you only really are going to download this if you're a gamer. Some challenges within the gamer base, though, are disabled gamers who still want to play. There's no tab support like websites, so if someone can't use a mouse, they have a hard time navigating this. But this can be fixed with tab support, a touch monitor, or the Steam controller, or any really controller with the big picture mode. The platform must have ease of access, appeal to all users, be aesthetically pleasing, and have a well-made user interface. Designers and programmers are responsible for all of this, plus the search function and menu system with the Steam application. With millions of users, Steam has the responsibility to allow its users access and protection while using Steam application. Network uptime is a crucial aspect to user satisfaction. Due to the nature of online transactions, account security is a top priority for a distribution platform. VAC, or Valve Anti-Cheat System, is an in-game cheating prevention system that stops people from cheating in multiplayers. Creation of games and distribution. The Greenlight program, which we talked about earlier. Early access, where big companies can release the game for people to play it before it's done to help them get user review and to make the game better in development. Steam Direct, which is the replacement for Greenlight. Community feedback with ratings and comments, like discussed before. Steam Library stores your games and gives you quick access. The store allows you to browse through thousands of selections, gain opinions of others, personal account and social aspects, friend systems to promote cooperative playing, messaging, trophies, and achievements. These are all managed by a community manager for a game, usually. Ethical issues. The digital divide between console users and PC, the different games that release for each system, the online divide with console players playing console players, and PC players playing PC players. Privacy. Steam is a highly secure application to run and buy games from. When you buy a game, you can either use your credit card information just for that transaction, or you can save it. But even if you save it, every time you go to make your final purchase, Steam requires that you provide a 3-digit code on the back of the card for more security. When logging into Steam, they require all users to have 2-step login identifications so that even if you know the password, Steam will send you an email, or you can use the Steam app on your mobile device to get the key code to use to finish logging in. Also, the code changes every few seconds. This is when you first log in and need the special access code to log in. You can check your email if you don't have Steam Guard set up on your mobile device for the code. This is the Steam Guard application on your mobile device. This is where you can acquire the code that changes every few seconds for the 2-step verification. When you first set up Steam Guard on your phone, it will give you a recovery code that in the event that you lose your phone, you can use this code to recover your account.